Well, signs of military cooperation between North Korea and Myanmar have its U.S. and Asian allies on high alert. In Thailand, U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton called any sort of progress on that front destabilizing for the region. Bloomberg's Indira Lakshmanan is covering Clinton's trip, and she joins us now from our Bangkok studio. So, Indira, how is Clinton addressing this security issue over in Thailand?
It's very much of an issue, and I must tell you, today the main event is that Hillary Clinton is on her way from Bangkok after talks with the Prime Minister yesterday to the southern resort town of Phuket for the meeting of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. And the idea is that the United States is going to for the first time sign the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation. This is very important for the U.S. because it's a symbolic gesture to try to get a foot in this region as a major ally, cooperating with all of the Southeast Asian nations in an area where China has already made a major foothold. And a lot of security issues are going to be on the agenda. As you mentioned, there are growing concerns, Hillary Clinton said yesterday, about military ties between Myanmar, which is also known as Burma, and North Korea. And the U.S. and its allies have been on high alert in recent months for signs of proliferation, particularly of possible nuclear material from North Korea. This related to the turning around of a freighter called the Kamnan 1 that was headed for Myanmar with an undisclosed cargo. And earlier this month, it did turn around after being shadowed by the U.S. Navy. So Hillary Clinton said that her allies here in Southeast Asia have expressed real concerns about this, and this is definitely going to be one of the things on the agenda today.
Well, Myanmar has a lot of bad press lately. They have nuclear suspicions and severe military practices. How are other countries pressuring the country to change now?
It's a really good question. Myanmar is a member in good standing of ASEAN officially, but the ASEAN Charter would require it to take steps towards democratization. And one of the points that Clinton has made and that the founding members of ASEAN, including Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines, have made again and again is that they would like Myanmar to release the political prisoners, about 2,000 of whom are estimated to be held right now, including the Nobel Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi, who the regime has put on trial for allegedly violating terms of her house arrest. These are all things that the U.S. and its allies in Southeast Asia are working on together to try to put pressure on the Burmese regime to release the democracy activist and others. The issue, of course, is, as Clinton herself recognized a few months ago, sanctions have not worked and engagement has not worked. So the U.S. is trying hard to come up with a new policy that might finally make a difference.
What about the U.S. plans to handle North Korea's nuclear program? What sort of clarity are we getting now on that?
It's a very good question. Essentially, some reports have come out in recent days that U.S. envoys were talking about a possible new package of heightened incentives for the North Koreans to get them back to the negotiating table in an effort to get them to totally denuclearize the Korean peninsula. Clinton tried to dampen down those reports yesterday by saying they had been misinterpreted. She said essentially the main thing the U.S. is doing is it wants North Korea to take steps first, and only then would the United States offer any incentives to them.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that update. Indira Lakshmanan joining us from our Bangkok studio.